coming.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How we doing? Yeah.
It's late on a Wednesday and y'all don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Unemployed audience. Yeah.
Y'all really don't care. Like, it's like gonna be midnight by the time you get home.
Don't tell them that now. They're gonna leave.
No, they won't leave. They already bought the ticket.
Oh, that's fair.
They're gonna sit here and enjoy the show.
By a real quick, round of applause, who listens to the Josh Johnson Show, the podcast? Who?
Wow.
Okay.
That's like everybody.
So that's mostly, and then for the rest of you, clap if you've never listened to it before. Okay.
There we go.
It's hurtful that one of them is a very close friend of mine. That was actually quite hurtful. He was the loudest clap. That's very hurtful.
But it's good to know where we stand.
Yeah, because time, we did it last year, and we came out and started talking, and then we asked that question for who listened to the podcast, and most didn't clap. I'm like, okay, cool. I love knowing our room has no idea who the fuck I am. So I wanted to really, they knew him and not me.
No, it happens. They know me, but they don't know that I do a podcast, which is what I actually spend most of my time doing. It's like... It's like when someone gets to know you real well, but then they're like, "Oh, you like act?" And you're like, "Yeah, that's what I've been doing. How do you think I make money?" And then they're like, "I didn't ask questions." You're like, what the fuck? You don't know me at all, you know?
Yeah. By the way, I know this goes without saying, but that's Josh Johnson right there. Make some noise for Josh Johnson.
How you doing? This is also my co-host, fellow stand comedian, Logan Nielsen. Give it up for Logan.
Hello. Make some noise again for Nico White, too. Thank you so much for coming out, man.
Pleasure to be here with y'all.
It's on Netflix, and you just released an album not too long ago, right?
I just released an album. It's called Marcellus, Marscellus. If you think you like me, go check that out. I think you'll like it.
Go check out his shit. Go check out Nico's shit.
So, we had you on, not just because you're hilarious stand-up. You also have a story, and we love stories. And so I just want to get right into it because I would love to hear.
Let's get right into it. So when they invited me on, they said to bring a crazy story with me. So I bought two. I'm going to try to keep them quick, but y'all bear with me. I'm long-winded, okay? So we'll start here. First of all, never underestimate your opponent, right? When I was in 7th grade, I got bullied bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about, and my bully was a short dude named Corey Beckett, right? I'll never forget this shit. And he's, like, to describe him, he's the type of short dude that you could tell lost their dad because, this ain't a black thing neither. This black or white. Them niggas always got these eyes all the time. Like they looking for something far off in the distance, nigga. That kid, you know that kid, that little motherfucker. And he was
they're looking for a dad.
They're looking for a dad. And
is that him? Oh, no.
No, nobody's him. They never find him. His eyes never open. They're cursed like this. So, this is the person that I'm dealing with, right? He's fighting demons that I can't hope to be a help with, right? So, this is 7th grade. This little motherfucker, and I'm not a punk, and this is the biggest thing about this shit, is that I'm from Harlem. I'm from the projects in Harlem. I fought my whole coming up, you know what I'm saying? But I went to school in the Bronx. This little motherfucker hung out with a crew of like 25 people. And I'm an hour and a half away on the train. I'm like, if I fight him, I'm going to get fucked up before I ever make it home, right? So one day, he punched me, right? And I had like friends. Well, my friends are nerds. They ain't with none of this fighting shit. We trying to play Yu-Gi-Oh! So, nigga, he knocked Dark Magician out of my fucking hand, bro. You'll never understand the frustration. That little motherfucker hit me, right? And that day, I was like, all right, I can't keep putting up with this shit, right? Because I'm end up hurting this motherfucker. But what could I do? So I cut school, right? I cut school for like 33 days straight because I didn't want to deal with this shit. Now, at the time, turn that off. At the time, I'm trying to open up to you motherfuckers. I don't usually come down this far to Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? I came down here to see you motherfuckers on the Josh Johnson Show. Turn your phone off. I'm fucking with you. So I cut school for 33 days, and I didn't have any cool places to go, right? But at the time, my grandmother was older, and she was sick, so we had an apartment in the Bronx. My mom was at the apartment with my grandmother in Harlem. So what I did was I had a PlayStation 2 Slim. That shit could fit in a book bag, right? I went and got a copy of my mom's key for the Bronx apartment from the hardware store. So I would just put my PlayStation in my bag, and instead of going to school, I would go to Bronx to our apartment and just chill out. right? She didn't come up there because she was busy taking care of my grandma and figured I didn't have a fucking key. So I did that for 33 days. Well, see, ACS has this thing where if you don't go to school for a certain amount of time, they will call Child Protective Services. And them motherfuckers sent a letter home. So I had to go to school now, right? So I go back to school. I'm like, all right, I've been gone for a month and 3 days. That's enough time for this little motherfucker to forget about me. Sure enough, I showed up. He bullied me like we just met. And I'm talking about, bro, like, it was to the point where that motherfucker was talking about he had a weapon and shit, all this, right? So I was like, yo, all right, I'm done, right? I'm done dealing with this shit. So now, the reason I said never underestimate your opponent is because you never know what people are thinking. You never know what people are going through. I told you I grew up in the projects in Harlem. One thing that any of my friends that know me from back then would tell you is that Nico's favorite hero was Wolverine, and he meant that shit. That's a quote. I'm telling you. My boys will tell you that I used to carry a knife, right? So I know you hear about like mass shooters and all that shit. No. I don't got time or the risk to hold a gun. But that little motherfucker, I got so tired of that nigga, I said, all right, tomorrow, I'm gonna put a stop to this shit. Wolverine style. Yo, I shit you not, bro. I watched X-Men 2, X Unlimited, back to back. Just watch Wolverine stab motherfuckers. Because I was like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to, shh. Yeah. This might be morbid, but I ain't do it. It's all right. So, but I'm telling you, I was going to...
Listen here, bub.
I was going to skewer this motherfucker. And yo, like Wolverine would talk, I swear to God I was going to dialogue with this motherfucker, like, want to dance? Like, oh, I couldn't wait. I was going to stab the shit out of this nigga. So my preparation for school was usually like, you know, when I was cutting class, was like, all right, I'll put the PlayStation in. Man, I went and got the longest fucking butcher's knife in my grandma's house. Now, the butcher's knife was about the size of Corey. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, I hate short people because of this little motherfucker, bro. Like, you family, but, like, outside of that, man, if you any shorter than Josh Johnson, don't even fucking talk to me, bro. Don't talk to me. If you have children that ain't, like, taller than you, don't have them talk to me. Stay the fuck away from me.
Could I ask what the logic behind the
No, you can't say shit, white man. No.
Okay.
Now,
I do feel blessed to be the line.
yeah, man.
Oh, so he can talk. Okay. That's all right.
Now
that's
you
fine.
get the picture.
Okay.
I'll fuck with
I'm
you,
also
white man.
editor
I
of
don't
the
get
fucking show, so we'll see if this
You
gets
can't
in.
edit this out live, nigga. I'm fucking with you, Logan. So, wait, Wolverine's real name
Oh,
is Logan.
suddenly I'm fun to have in the story.
Fuck it.
Oh.
So now, I put the knife in my bag, right? So the knife is so fucking long. I had an Adidas book bag, little drawstring shit, right? So the top of the knife, like the handle, was hanging out the top of the shit. And I was gonna kill this nigga. So I go up to school, right? So I go up to school and like my friends ain't really seen me in a minute. So everybody happy and shit. We talking on the line and I got that knife in my bag like I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. Poke that nigga. And look, I was gonna do it so cold because I was gonna do it and I was gonna leave. Like swear to God, I was gonna walk right up to him. I don't give a fuck people so and I was gonna twist it. I was gonna twist the shit out that night. Man, I get to school, and, you know, maybe it was meant for me not to do it so I get here in front of you guys tonight. And I say that because as soon as I show up to school, we sitting out front, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, this 7th grade, so for that class, they used to have teachers come down if you got to school early enough. And we sitting there, and one of my friends goes, yeah, man, you know, they got metal detectors in there now. I said, what? He said, yeah, man, they got metal detectors in there now. I said, they detect metal? He was like, yeah. I was like, well, I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. I gotta go, right? So because I couldn't bring the knife and kill this nigga, I decided not to go that day, right? But then as I was walking away, I was like, well, shit, I already came here, so I may as well go inside. So I went, stashed the knife somewhere or whatever, and I got in school. So now I'm sitting in school, and you know how your teachers send you to get something? So I go to the principal's office to get something, and they ask me what, you know, been keeping me from school so long. I'm making up some lie. And then they said, you know, we had to have metal detectors put into the school because Mr. Bastian, I'll never forget it, motherfucker said, because there's another kid in school named Dante that showed up with a gun to shoot the motherfucker that I was gonna stab. I was gonna put that little motherfucker in dirt, boy. But thankfully, none of that happened, and I get to be here with y'all.
Yeah.
So that's one of my stories.
Give it up for
man.
Nico.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn. Wow.
Yeah.
You gotta be a real bastard to be stabbed or shot, depending on the person.
Yeah.
That's somebody who, especially since you said he was short,
Yeah.
it's like a classic bully too. Because you know those bullies that are short, but then they got two big friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then you wonder why the big friends are listening to them. You're
Yep.
like, you're big enough to kill him.
That Napoleon, bro.
Yeah.
It also shows his ability to multitask because he bullied two kids enough for them to want to murder him the same day.
Yeah.
So that means he was really equally fucking with these two kids that they were just like, today's the day in unison. Like that's...
That means that he didn't learn shit. There was no time to learn in between all this bullying.
Yo, he ain't no math, he ain't no nothing, he ain't know where his dad was. It was hard for him, man. And the little nigga thought he was a preacher too, because you remember this is like 06, right? So
Yeah.
this is or it's 2005 going into 06. So this is when June 6, 06 was the thing. And I guess his grandmother or something went to church a lot. This nigga was in the classroom, and the trumpets are gonna blaze. And then the last thing we gonna see, he was doing sermons and shit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but you're the devil himself, bro.
Yeah.
Sit the fuck down and stop scaring me in this
Yeah.
fucking class.
It's always the
Yeah.
kid like least likely to go to heaven.
Boom. I wonder if he dead yet.
Does he not have Facebook?
I wouldn't look up that shit. I'm Josh. You don't know, bro. I like people like that.
Yeah.
I'm all for growing and like surpassing things.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
with you, but man, him. Hey, I don't wish bad on nobody. But man, I don't wish no good on that motherfucker. Ah, man.
It sounds like you actively pray against him at night. Like
You know what? I wouldn't actively pray against nobody. 'Cause
Yeah.
God would tell me, you know, I'm from one of those families. But
yeah.
if anybody ever, like, I don't know how long it take prayers to get answered. But if, you know, if them shits got to go to a certain part of the universe, I prayed a long time ago. So we'll see. We'll see what happened in the next couple years. That motherfucker get into like a car accident and it combust. That was all me. Like he passed on some X-Men shit. That was all me.
I love when our podcast becomes evidence.
Yeah.
Always makes me happy knowing that this will be
I feel like
played in
he's
front of a
towing
court.
the line though. It's like it's really on the line, you know?
It's really
like,
on fate if we
yeah,
be
yeah,
honest.
because you really can't prosecute prayer, you know? Like that's one of those things where you're like, I very much hoped this would happen, but I was not there, Your Honor.
You know what though? I shouldn't put that energy out there. I really don't hope anything happens to him. I hope wherever he is, he's free, he's safe, and I hope he found his pops, man.
Yeah.
And he killed him. I was running away! Bye-bye!
Oh,
There's
man.
a hip hop song called 24 Hours to Live. There's that line. Y'all know 24 Hours to Live. Fuck it. Song by Mace.
It's all good. Mace is probably the crossover between this demographic and Mace is probably pretty slim. Just
Swinging them and hitting them,
yeah. The Venn diagram is barely a line laying over.
You're not wrong, shit.
Yeah.
They know
Whatever
Rugrats
happened to
song.
Mace? Is he all right?
He's all right. He just put out this song against Diddy recently.
Recently, okay. So if you don't
Against
know,
Diddy recently?
yeah, this which is
Didn't Diddy's life go against Diddy enough? Like,
yeah. I don't really get Mace's whole thing is that way back in the day, Diddy had all of his publishing, and so he gave him like 10% of his own publishing, but he also had the master. So then Mace made almost no money off of all of his music, which was selling worldwide. So he has basically the same gripe as any other artist.
quick survey: who's picturing Mace Windu right now from Star Wars? I just wanted to check. See a couple of knowing smiles. Okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to see who
If
was.
you don't know who the rapper Mace is, just imagine any barber. Like he,
Yo, fuck off, nigga.
Mace has one of the least recognizable faces I've ever seen in my entire life.
Nah, bro, I'm from Harlem. I can't let you do that, man. Hell no. Mace looked like every nigga that in the '90s, like you could tell wasn't the fighter, but wasn't the super corny dude. Looked like Mace, man.
Yeah,
they had something way too shiny, fucking waves in their hair.
Yeah,
and they fuck your girl on occasion. Like that's Mace. That grimy dude that when he gets caught, he moves away.
Yeah.
He left Harlem because of that shit.
Yeah.
Supposedly. I was like 3 years old. Fuck do I know.
All right. But yeah, so he's very upset with Diddy, and then he finally made a bunch of money. I had to be doing something else, like had to be doing something not rapping, and then offered Diddy to buy all of his artistic license to like all of his work back, like all the intellectual property, and then Diddy said no. And then now, and that was like last year, and he did this whole tweet about it, explaining everything and how the record contract that he signed was horrible and exploitive. And then this year,
in the music industry,
yeah, like
what?
Like I can't think. If you need any insight on Mace's career, the lateness with which he has done this is like kind of indicative of his music as well. Like it's like he is using a time machine wrong, you know? Like he's like, I gotta go into the future to warn them. It's like, oh no, that's not how it works. You're supposed to go back and all right.
Family, thank y'all so much for letting me spend some time with
thank
you, Josh.
You, Nico,
you go,
yeah.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Make some noise for Nico White, please.
Make some noise for your host.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's.
Can I scoot over a little bit so now we're just not weirdly just you and me over
here?
Man,
I can scoot over a touch.
There we go.
This week has been a bit wild for me because
now I'm far from my drink. I
did
have
it
to
to
be very
yourself.
careful with this table.
How full is it? Oh, okay. The week has been wild because I don't know if anybody else saw this, but Uber Pool is back. It's called Uber Share now. It's under a different banner. It's called Uber Share because, like I was saying before, with the evil of a corporate mind, they have brought back Uber Pool. But back in the day, Uber Pool used to just let you have the price for the pool, and then if no one else hopped in the pool, you would just get that price because you were willing to be taken out of your way. Now, with Uber Share, it seems, I don't know if I have this right, but it seems that you're really just getting an Uber X, and the price only goes down if someone else gets picked up, which is not up to you, right? So you could pay full price and just make it home with a regular ride, or you could get 20% off because other people got picked up.
What a shitty lottery.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be
I hope
like,
someone gets in this car. Like
I really hope I get taken out of my way from home and someone coughs all over me. That would be the dream. And so
for $2.
For two,
I hope I saved $2 to catch something.
For almost no difference. And so basically, I was taking an Uber Share because I was nostalgic of the time before COVID when strangers would ride in cars together and ignore each other. And so I take this Uber Share, and we're doing pretty good. It looks like I'm not going to get the discount, getting almost all the way to the bridge. I was at the stand. I'm getting back to Brooklyn, where I live, and before we get there, the driver turns around, and he's like, hey, are you picking up a friend or something? It just changed the thing on me. Like, is this you? And I was like, no, I didn't add a stop or anything. It's Uber Share. So I just started explaining Uber Share because he didn't know what it was. He was like, what is this?
Oh.
Are you picking up your friend right now? Why is it changing the directions on me, right? And his English is good, but I'm trying to make sure I'm being
His
very
English
clear.
is good, but the concept is stupid. So it's like,
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of what I'm saying. It's like the concept is so dumb that I'm like, I need to explain this so clearly because there's no language barrier here, sir.
And I'm sure
this doesn't make
he's even
sense.
probably just like, I must be missing something.
Yeah.
It must be.
And so
there must be a term I don't know.
I like fully explain it of just like it's back like because he hasn't been driving for Uber that long, so he doesn't remember pool. So then I had to explain pool and then share, and then and this is all while we're driving. He's looking at me too much because he really wants to, instead of just using the mirror to look up at me from the mirror and in front, he's fully turning around.
Oh, that's good.
At times where we're not at the red yet. Like he'll see it turn red and be like, so what were you saying? And so that's happening. And then we finally stop. We get to this cross section for the pickup, and this always happens. It happened with pool. It happens with share. It's going to continue happening. But the person opens the door on my side. And anytime that happens, it's so little. It's not worth getting upset about. But what's so annoying about people that you share an Uber with is they will just really want to get in from the side of the door that they open. And so then you have to move, but you're like, you didn't look. You also ordered this thing and didn't look to see if
they
anybody
probably
else
thought there was
in.
like, surely no one will be in this. And then
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
They maybe also didn't know.
So then my man opens the door, and he's standing there with a woman behind him, and he's like, for Miguel? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, so you get...
Your name's Miguel too?
And I'm like, yeah. And then he's kind of just, he feels like he's opened the door for me. He's waiting for me to get out, but I'm just sitting there. And then he's like, for Miguel. And I was like, yeah, but it's a Uber share. He's like, I order Uber X. And I was like, yeah, but you ordered Uber X share. See, it's confusing because they kept the X in there. And then the driver joins in where he's like, yes, they kept the X in there. So it's actually... So now both of us are explaining this to him and his date who are standing outside of the car. And finally, he's like taking it all in. And he turns to her and he's like, I thought it was an Uber X. Like, because it's so clear that they're on a date. Just like their body language. And then he looks at me, he's like, would you mind sitting in the front? And I'm like, the front? And then he gives me this look that, like, is such a... It's so purely like a guy thing of, like, help me out, bro. Like, he just says it... He literally just says it with his, like, pupils. It's not even an eyebrow thing. It's not an intimidation. He's not being rude. He's literally just, like... Like, it's like... It looks like he's looking at someone pointing a gun at him because it's like he just sucked in a little bit of air and he was like, and I was like, yeah, sure. So I get out and as I'm opening the front door, he even pats me on the back and he whispers, he's like, thank you. And so then they get in the back and I'm sitting in the front and I'm on my phone anyway, so I really don't care. I'm not like stressing it at all or anything. But as soon as they start talking, the nosy bitch in me comes out. And so I immediately hit pause on the music that I'm listening to.
Oh,
because
for sure.
it's like, it's so clearly a first date. And I can't tell if they're still on the date. Like when they get in the car, I can't tell if they're heading somewhere, like he's picking her up.
Oh, if that's the start, that's a rough start.
Yeah,
that's
I can't
a rough
tell.
start.
I couldn't tell at the time if he was picking her up or if they're leaving a restaurant because it was in
Right.
a part of the city where there's just lots of apartments over restaurants.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if it's the start, she's already thinking now, like, well, I'm at least paying half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it which really
this is
cracked me
Dutch
up as
at
well.
best.
It also cracked me up so much because my man it says it again at some point in the conversation.
I have
where
money.
It's like, what? No. He's literally just floundering at one point, and he's like, "I thought it was an Uber X." Like he keeps inserting. He will not let it go to everyone in the car that he thought it was the regular Uber. Like he can't handle it, and so then. And so then they start talking. This is so painful. Okay, so he is coming out the gate with like, it's not a a shitty bravado. I want to make that clear. It's not like this person does not seem like a jerk to me, right? But as he's talking, he's like, yeah, so what do you like to do? Like, he's so clearly nervous, which is very sweet as well.
Ride alone in cars.
Ride alone in cars. I'm sorry that I messed that up for you.
It's my favorite thing to do.
And then she goes, I love theater, right? And he's like, oh man, I love theater too. Like theater is amazing, except for musicals. Musicals are annoying as hell. Like musicals, just like, I don't know. There's just something about them I can't stand it. And then she goes, I was actually a musical theater major.
I'm in the Music Man right now.
And so I'm like, I don't know what to do with my body so much, so I'm just looking out the window now. Like my head is on the glass, and I'm breathing through my mask so hard that I'm still fogging up the window a little bit. I'm just like, ooh, that's not a great start, you know? Because the car is not taking off yet. Like this is just
I'm sorry, what? The car's not taking off yet?
No, because he's sitting down. And now the driver is trying to figure out who's getting dropped off first. So he's just looking at his Waze app.
You guys haven't fucking moved yet?
We haven't moved yet.
And he found a way to fuck it up in that time?
And don't get me wrong, this is all of like 30 seconds. So that thing, like, they sit down and
that
he's
also
like,
makes
so
it worse.
he's
He's like, oh, I can't believe it. This is an Uber X. I fucking hate musicals.
Yeah.
Like, that's a
happened.
lot to cram in to a
happened.
short amount of time.
It happened so fast. And then we take off, and none of the conversation is, like, ideal. Like none of it.
Not after that.
None of it is going well. And so, because then he even tries to save it where he's like, oh, so, like, what were you in, you know? And then she starts listing these musicals that she did wherever she's from.
Right.
And finally, she hits one of them, and he's like, oh, I love Come From Away. And it's like, it's too late, bro. Like you're not saving it now. And then they kind of like move on from that. And there's a couple of like pauses. And anytime there's a pause, I just get back on my phone. Like, it's not that interesting, you know. But then he'll say something like out of a pause, he'll be like, so you have like a favorite food or anything? Like, what do you really like?
What a great question to ask on a date.
And this
always has places to go.
And this
yeah.
is how I know where their like, date is at.
Yeah.
Because he's like, so what was your favorite, like your favorite food and everything? And she's like, Peruvian. I told you that at the Peruvian restaurant. And at this point, I can't even breathe. Like I'm like so stressed out for this man and this woman in the back that I'm like genuinely in my head. I'm like, I should be back there. Like that would have broken up the tension. If I was even sitting in between them, that would be better than what's happening right now. Like he's just been left to his own devices, and it is fucking his world up. Okay. And so it's so bad. It's so bad that the driver starts turning up the music so that nobody can talk. Like, 'cause the entire time I'm forgetting that the driver must also be getting so uncomfortable right now that he's like, I would rather blare Dua Lipa to the point where all of our ears bleed than to let this man hang himself anymore. This is horrible. And the music's playing for like maybe 3 songs.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, he's kind of like, hey, could you turn it down? To which I'm sure everyone in the car in their head was like, don't make us do this.
Come on, man.
And then he's,
You got show tunes?
Yeah.
I love musicals.
I love musicals now. I just want to save the date and everything. Please. And then he
Peruvian musicals. I love them. Put it, if you have that, please.
And then
I thought this was an Uber X.
And then he turns the music down a little bit, and the guy once again is like, yeah, I thought it was an Uber X. Like he says it.
Oh, he does it again?
Yeah, he says it again. He's saying it throughout the whole drive, like too many times. And then we're in Brooklyn now, and we're heading off to drop, them off first. And this next part is technical, okay? Because I can understand the dance that was happening. When you order an Uber X, you can add or change a stop, right? So I understand what he must have been thinking, right? And if I have it right in my head, what he's thinking was the perfect way to play it. But we get to the stop. It's not my stop. They're stopping at her apartment. And so car stops, and she's like, I had a great time, and she goes to open the door, and he's like, oh, I was wondering if I could. If I could, come up, we hang out a little bit more. And then she goes, oh, I had a great time and everything, but Can
I be honest? You looking at me and saying this feels like you're breaking up with me.
Yeah.
And it's palpable enough that like this situation sucks.
It's so painful, and me and the driver made eye contact. Out of the side of our eyes, because we were like, oh. And then he was like, hey, yeah, I'm not, like, I don't want to be weird or anything. It's just I
love you. Oh, shit.
It's just when I put the address in, and then she was like, yeah, sorry, maybe I gave the wrong impression or something, but I'm gonna go up and maybe we can talk again or something. And so she closes the door, and it's just the three of us sitting there. And so he's like, he looks at me, and he's like, thanks for sitting up front, man. Like, I was like, and I was like, oh yeah. I mean, I really was trying to make it better. Like in the moment, I was trying to keep it light, because this person is clearly devastated, and that's very embarrassing. Because he made some missteps, but once again, he did not seem like a douchey asshole, right? And so I was like, I just as a joke, I was like, yeah, I mean, if only you could come home with me, you know what I mean? Like. And then
that is not what you said.
Yeah. And then he opened the door, and to himself goes, I thought it was an Uber X.
Well, that's better than can I?
But yeah, it was rough. And then I didn't know what to do, so I just stayed in the front with the driver for the rest of the time. And we were both just airing it out. Like, we were both just
you guys just talk about it
Yeah,
then?
we talked about it.
Absolutely,
How could we not talk about it?
I know, yeah.
He was like, I couldn't believe, and I was like, when he sat down. Because the reason that I bring up the dance is that he is like trying to, I guess, I'm assuming, like, pay for things, show his interest and everything on the date, right? And so he's getting the Uber back to her apartment. And she also knows he's getting the Uber to her apartment. She's not like wondering where they're going. You know what I mean? Like
that's a whole different problem on a date.
No, but you know what I mean? Like it's like if
take me to question mark.
If the date is over and your date's ordering the Uber and they put your address, you know that they're getting the Uber for your place, you know what I mean?
Right.
When it's an Uber X, you can add a stop, which means if she didn't want him to come up, he can now just add a stop to his apartment and head home. But because it's Uber share, you can't do that. So we drove off from him just sort of standing on the sidewalk. And I was
in
like,
front of her
that's-
place, or
Yeah. Ordering another Uber.
that's not good if she looks out the window.
Yeah, no, it looks horrible, but it's
She
like
looks out.
he can't-
Oh God, he
can't-
didn't go.
I mean, he basically doesn't exist in the car now because he's supposed to get out
Right.
at the stop he orders.
Yeah.
And so you can't add a stop, and so what a shame. Yeah. No, it is. It's just sad because if it was an X, he could be like, "Oh, okay, I read it wrong. Let me add a stop," and then he goes
Right,
home.
right, yeah.
But now he has to get out. He can't come to my place,
Right.
and he's not.
Even though you invited him,
yeah, even though I invited him, but he's not.
he could have.
But he's not supposed to be in the
Right,
the
right.
car anymore, so he has to get out. And so yeah, but then the driver and I were just like, oh. Then and the driver was also like, the driver was also like, when you're on a date, just say nothing. And I was like, wow, that is in a weird way better advice.
I mean,
like I understand what he was trying to say, where he was
Right.
like, man, in this whole situation, I would have just said nothing in the car.
or at least not have such hard opinions. Like that's the thing too.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, musicals. I fucking hate those. Oh, what? Like don't
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
come out the gate. You got to be kind of in the gray area until you know. But it's especially too like, I'm not saying he's trash or anything, but he's clearly has wild misguided confidence to just assume he is going to her house when clearly learned nothing about her on the date.
Well, that's also what I was thinking, where I was like, how did I'm so interested.
He
I
maybe
wish,
did say nothing on the date.
yeah, I wish I could go back in time and be in another, like not doing the show I was doing, and then just be like a fly on that wall,
yeah.
because I guess this is my thing. The date seemed, at some point at least, to be going well enough that I actually think he was about to come up with her if he didn't say the musical theater thing.
If it was
because
an Uber
think about it.
X.
Think about it. If you're on a date with someone and you've given them your address, they're on the way together. He didn't order her an Uber and then get a lift for himself. They're both in the Uber going to her
Which
address.
is frankly 20 times funnier. That on the ride to her apartment
That's what I'm saying.
is where he fucked it up.
That's what I'm saying.
That's so much funnier.
That has to be what happened.
If she's just like, I like him a lot, and you know what? I
Yeah.
never do this.
I'm
but
not-
I'm gonna invite him up, and like, there's another guy here, huh?
There's another guy here, and I hate what you do. Because does that make sense? What I'm saying? They were definitely about. He messed it up at like the 90%. He was so close.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
What a shame. So then, a different time now. We're talking about pre-pandemic, when I took one of my favorite Uber pools. So people, especially in LA, would give me trouble all the time. They would always like make fun of me for taking Uber pools all the time because I would leave early. I would leave early just to take the pool, just to have the padding, instead of just getting an Uber, right?
Right.
And I don't know. I just usually did it to like have experiences and meet people and stuff.
Yeah, it's a weird thing about you.
Well, I'm just saying it was like
No one else here relates to that.
All right.
I take him because I like making friends. Like that's
Yeah.
no, it's.
Yeah.
Now it's like if the $2 off is not guaranteed, but never fucking doing that. I'm never.
Sure. I get. This is my thing though. So there was this one time, and it just felt it felt very special. Like I think the word might be serendipity. There was a time where I was taking an Uber pool after a show to get home, and I get in the car, and we immediately get the name and where they are, right? And so the guy drives there. It's actually pretty close, like 5 minutes away, and he drives there, and he's circling the block, and then he finally just stops. He starts calling them. Every time he calls them, they pick up, and you can hear a bunch of noise, but you can't actually hear them. And so he calls like 3 times, and then he circles the block one more time. But now it's getting to the point where he's tried to pick them up longer than I've been in the car, you know? Because this is also, because back in the days of like pool, they hadn't solidified how long drivers were supposed to wait yet.
I like
So
that
we're
you
not-
keep saying it like it's been 30 years. Like,
Yeah.
back when we could pool.
Yeah, I'm just saying for context, they've changed the app a lot in the time between. So
Yeah, no one knows they're taking them now.
Yeah.
Even the driver.
No, it's chaos. And so it got to the point where I was like, you know you can move on if you don't. Like, if they're just not going to come, like, we should probably go.
He's like, you're not my
I'm sure
fucking boss.
Yeah. I mean,
I work for you.
I'm not even telling him in a way of, like, can we hurry it up? Because he's the one getting frustrated. I'm just like, hey, you've done everything that you could. You know, you called 3 times.
Right.
You've driven around the block several times.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in the car for, like, 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Just us,
Right.
and you've been trying to pick them up for like 8. So this is wild, you know?
Yeah.
And also the drivers will get penalized for like canceling rides and stuff. So he didn't want to cancel on them, and there's no like distinction in the app for how long you should wait.
Right.
And so finally he drives off, just cancels on them, keeps going. We get about maybe 2 minutes away, and we get pinged again for another pickup, and it's the same guy. It's the very same guy, and he's in a slightly different location. So he's like a couple blocks like west of where he was supposed to be. And
He got scared. He thought a car was chasing him.
yeah.
Oh, no!
Why won't they leave me alone? And so this time we picked them up easily. They're like right on the corner, and it's a couple, this guy and this woman, and they get in the car and they're next to me, and it is amazing. They're very drunk. They're the best way to put it is that they're deeply drunk. Like I don't even know how
I
you
fucking
get it.
hate musicals.
Yeah.
Do you like food? I like what we just had.
They are so drunk, and they are going at it in a way that is so funny, where they are arguing.
Okay,
but it's like
going at it could mean 2 different things.
yeah. But it's like at first I thought they were arguing for real, and it's not. They're like playfully roasting each other.
Okay.
But they're very drunk, and they're taking it way too far. Like it's so this dude, and I can tell from them walking to the car that this dude has a little bit of a limp, right? And she lays into it hard. Like she's drunkenly like, you should probably have like a cane or something. Like,
Jesus.
It's like relentless, okay? And it's actually, a lot of it is actually pretty funny. Where she was like, if I pull on your right leg hard enough, will it be the same size as your left? Like it was just like it was like nonstop, right? And then it's to the point where I think he's gonna get upset, you know, and he's not. He's just like laughing, and he's like, oh, you know, my leg been like this from childhood. And I'm like, he's actually making it worse when he describes it, but then she doesn't really connect with it in that drunk way, so she just keeps going. So she's like, well, did you like step on your first step when you were little and then just walked away? Like, did you not couldn't even it out? And then he finally goes, he's like, how about we leave my legs alone for a second, talk about your fucked up ass teeth. And he lays into her teeth hard. She's like, and it's funny because they're both laughing. It's like at no point, it's so tense. Like the driver and I are trying not to laugh because we're like, any minute now, one of them is gonna go too far, right? But then even when
will they get pissed off if we laugh at it? Like,
Yeah.
are we not a part of the joke?
Yeah, like are they talking like we're not here, or is this for us?
Yeah.
I can't tell.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, okay, what's wrong with my teeth? And he's like, honestly, I don't see how the fuck you chew. All right. I made you a sandwich yesterday. Your bite mark looked like a boot print. And they just kept laughing, and it was so funny. And the driver, the driver lowered his window to quietly laugh out the window as we were driving. And I was like, man, pool is the best. And then the pandemic happened.
So we've only got a little bit of time left, but should we open up the mailbag quick? Woo! Yeah, they like it.
There we go.
All right, so I definitely want to at least get this one in here because this one is from Ray, who I believe is here. Ray, you here?
Here.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay.
There we go.
I was about to be like, well, I hope he fucking bought a ticket. I hope he's at least missing out. No. Hi, Ray. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Awesome.
No,
Well, thanks
no,
for sending
thanks for
in.
coming.
Thanks for sending an email. So I'll read out what you sent here, and then maybe we'll have some follow-up questions if we need to.
Okay.
So this is it says, "Cheers, J-Lo."
Okay.
That's us. We go by
J-Lo.
sometimes. I mean we don't in the world.
Yeah, but we're much less famous, J-Lo. You.
Now you said J-Lo there.
I was hesitant to say J-Lo. Because we.
You
so
thought we
rarely
said it 3
say
times, we'd summon her?
Sometimes I wonder if J-Lo listens, and so I just want her to like us, and I don't know. What did Ray say?
Wouldn't that be great if she was listening?
Wouldn't that be great if she was listening? Like, why are they using my? And then we just get a cease and desist.
The most confusing cease and desist of
Yeah.
all time. Hey, will you 2 men stop using my name, please?
Together.
Together as a unit. Cheers, J-Lo. So what is a survival tactic that metropolitan cities like Chicago and New York City taught you guys that you take with you everywhere? Now, they also have their own example here. So, mine is not responding to anyone too eager for my attention, and that is a very good one. That is a very good one. Jesus of Nazareth could be trying to sell me his mixtape, detailing how to get into heaven, and I'd probably raise the volume on my headphones before I react. I've gotten caught in too many conversation scams while living here, especially because I have an English accent, so they think I'm a tourist. Then the next part's just a compliment. Do you want me to read that? Just kind of for us.
I guess so, to get the full
All right.
experience.
Because Ray even wrote, this next part doesn't have to be read, but I don't really care. I just wanted to show appreciation for you guys. And I'm like, well, I'm a big enough narcissist to make them listen to it. Just wanted to take a moment to say I genuinely appreciate the work you guys do. I subscribe to the Patreon and listen weekly because of the genuine authenticity you guys have just talking about life and Josh's addiction to living a cartoon lifestyle. I like the concept that you're addicted to it.
Yeah.
Like you can't get enough of it.
Like if I was just
I'm trying to just stay inside.
If I was at home reading a book and then I know where I'm like, nah, I need a fix.
I'm gonna go slip on some shit. Your shows help me through bad times and make the good times even better. Just a reminder that what you do has a positive and powerful impact, and both of you are appreciated by myself and by many others. I wish you guys all the success and happiness you desire. Thank you so much, Ray.
Thank you so
We
much,
appreciate
Ray.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is a great question, though. What is a survival tactic you take with you other places?
As far as Ray, I can't see you. Are you black?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is for us. So
I'll go.
I found that in the city, when you're walking the city, this is already piggybacking off what you do, but I found that there's a different type of interaction you're about to have by how many times the person trying to get your attention calls you brother. Okay? First brother is just another black guy, right? Hey, brother, need something. What's the time? Whatever, right? Hey, brother, that is a little bit more precarious. Like that one, you might want to just turn up the volume like you do. Hey, brother, that is where you run. That is... like, hey, brother is almost always drugs. That is something to be avoided. And then the other one I think I found is that you should always, like, turn your Wi-Fi off if you're underground, because when it's fighting to find a connection, it's draining your battery. And sometimes you'll take the train for 20 minutes and then walk up the stairs and be like, why do I have 20% less battery than when I left? And it's because of that.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like a real struggle.
I like a good practical one, you know? It's just a good, like, this
Yeah.
is,
I felt like one to confirm what you're
Yeah.
already doing is good, and then one that's just like someone didn't tell me
one
for way
joke,
too
one
long.
real thing, yeah. One
Yeah.
for them, one for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
One for me that I actually just utilized recently. It goes with people talking to you too. That if someone comes up and is clearly like trying to fuck with you, like they ask you a question to like trap you into like an answer one way or the other because they're gonna roast you or something like that, is if you give the most confusing answer possible, they don't know what to do next. This happened to me recently. I was in New York with my friend who doesn't listen to the show, and or in New York, I just said in Central Park. That one. I'm in New York now. God damn it. I live Midwest. And but we're sitting there, and this group of young men walk by, and one of them just looks at me, and it's very clearly like he's setting me up to like dunk on me in front of his friends, because he just goes like, hey, you guys like pussy? And it's how he said it, and it very much had like everyone's like, what's he gonna say? And I just said, little bit. Which was great because then he went, and then all of his friends laughed at him because I didn't take the bait. And I've used that a lot. I use that in Chicago a lot too. People try to fuck with you, and then you just give them an answer and they go, I don't even, whatever. And then they just walk away. Then they're disappointed.
Yeah. I think the last one I'll impart to you is this is very specific of cities. This one is actually like just a Chicago, New York, probably Seattle and Portland have train system. Anywhere with a train system, if a train car is empty, leave it empty. Because there's a reason that in a city with millions of people, no one wants that car.
Especially here.
So sometimes it's poop. Sometimes it is poop.
Sometimes it's poop.
But every once in a while, it's a person. Every once in a while, it's a person so
And they
crazy.
are pooping.
Yeah. So crazy that everyone was like, I don't know if I need this in my life. And they decided to get off, and there wasn't time to warn you, so then you get on, and then the doors close, and for at least one stop, you're a hostage.
I'll do one more email and then we can get out of here because we're almost out of time. Let's real quick and just thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you guys
all
so much for hanging out with us.
This has been great.
Late on a Wednesday. So this one is from Anissa. I don't think they're here. This was just sent separately. You here? Yeah, I thought so. This is just this one caught my eye, and I thought this would be a good one to just read with the group here. So the title of this one just says, "I was reminded of my dead gerbil."
I don't
great
really
title.
know what we did.
I think it's a great start. If it's just our show, that would be a bummer.
Yeah.
That would be a real
That's
bummer.
what I was saying. I was like, oh man, does this just...
Listening to your show reminds me of the dying screams of a rodent. Anyway, now that I've bummed him out. Hey guys, I'm currently getting up to date on the podcast. I'm on episode 50, but with the way I've been listening, I'll likely be caught up quickly. Anyway, in that episode, Logan talked about his dead hamster found behind a fake fireplace after escaping, and Josh displayed ... a ton of displeasure. It reminds me of my two gerbils. To remind anybody who maybe either hasn't listened to that episode in a while or you haven't listened to it, we had a hamster and it escaped, and we had a fake fireplace where it was just a light bulb in fake plastic wood or whatever, and then we found the hamster when we smelled it, and just to word it quickly, but reminded me of my two gerbils. One of them was named Gino. Unfortunately, also great name for a gerbil.
Yeah.
Gino is a great gerbil name.
Yeah, any alliteration you can get with an animal is probably
Gino the
gonna be-
gerbil?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they both escaped one day, as small animals like that are to do, and for days we could not find Gino specifically. Well, my mother had a pallet bed at the time, and one pallet would lift slightly until you laid on it. Well, yep. Figured I'd pause, just let everyone catch up for a second. You may know where this goes, is what the email says. I was looking for Gino.
Wait, it would be amazing if in the email is also pause for groans.
I was looking for Gino still and sat on her bed. When I did, I heard squeak crunch.
Pause for groans.
I knew what happened immediately and didn't have the heart to check. My poor mother had to retrieve Gino's crushed little body. Now, this next part is just a quick little aside. Not as traumatizing for me as watching my guinea pig run into a table leg and die. And that's all they gave us for that one. Which is clearly a much wilder story. That this guinea pig was just like, bam, nope, and like, that's... The guinea pig concussed itself to death.
The guinea pig did a full Fast and Furious on itself.
Sorry to tell you such awful, awful things, but I love this sentence. Sorry to tell you such awful, awful things, but if I have to suffer, so must everyone else. I love the show. You both are great.
I love that the origin story of that villain is that their guinea pig ran into a table leg and died. And then they were like, everyone in the world will feel this.
I must destroy all tables.
Oh, man. I cannot thank all of you enough for being here. This has been absolutely
Thank
incredible.
you guys so much.
Thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for listening.
Make some noise for Nico White again. I know he's not here, but go and make some noise for our guest.
Yeah. Thank you so much for Union Hall for having us and everybody that set
everyone
this
in
up.
the back, make a bunch of noise
Thank
for everyone
you
who
so
works
much.
at Union Hall. We were lucky to do it last year. We're lucky to do it this year.
We're going to be around hanging out a little bit. So
Yeah.
We'll see you out there. Thank you all so much.
Thank
again.
you guys
Have a
so much for
wonderful
coming
night.
out.
Appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Josh Johnson!
It genuinely has been an insane week. You know? Yeah. No, I know. No, it's that part. I'm not gonna talk about it forever, but yeah. Oh, it's what you came for? Okay, good. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't want to hear about my life. No, okay. You know, Trump took office and he immediately signed a wild amount of executive orders. They've been one-upping each other every presidency for a little while. Like, I'm pretty sure Barack Obama signed more than Bush, and then Trump signed more than Obama, and then Biden signed more than Trump. But this was like astronomical. This was a whole lot, because basically Trump went ahead and signed executive orders that rolled back a lot of what Biden did, plus his own. Right, and he did some sweeping stuff. Like, he signed an executive order that began the steps for the U.S. to leave the World Health Organization. I did not do it. But what feels kind of wild to me about the executive orders that Trump is passing, and a lot of the things that we're going to see for the next few months into the rest of his presidency, is basically just a blueprint of everything that Project 2025 said that they were going to do. It's a project that he said he knew nothing about and had nothing to do with, but now that he's in office, they seem hella tight. It's kind of like when you tell the police you don't know somebody, and then the police are like, but here's a picture of you two right here. And the picture hella incriminating, because it's not you just happening to be in the picture with them, it's you being like, hey. You say that you're not boys, but in this picture here, you're holding a different picture of the two of you together. You're like... And sure enough, yeah, Trump sign an executive order that would start the process of the U.S. leaving the World Health Organization. And I feel like there are some things that Trump is doing because they're his idea, and some things that he's doing because his aides and the people that wrote up Project 2025 are pushing him to do it for whatever their own reasons are, right? Like, I feel like they went to Trump and they were like, we need you to pull out of the World Health Organization. Then Trump was like, who? And they were like, yes. And he was like, yes, what? And they were like, who? And he's like, who? And they were like, that's what we're saying. Who's who? And then he was like, I'll do what you want me to do, but I just need to know who it is. And it's like, who it is? That's who we want you to do it to. We have to pull out of who? Pull out? Who? Where? Yes, because we believe that who is dangerous. Who is dangerous? Yes, who is dangerous? Where is who? Well, sir, who's all over the world? Who is dangerous all over the world? Yes, that's why we have to pull out of who. I'm not in who, by the way. I'm just standing here. We're just gonna put it on a piece of paper and we need you to sign it, all right? And this is my main thing when it comes to pulling out of the World Health Organization, is that a lot of people take for granted things that are functioning in their life. Things are either good, you expect to be good, and things that are working, you're just like, yeah, it works because it's supposed to work, right? But sometimes we don't ask enough questions on how a working thing got to the way it was. And there hasn't been enough time in between when it didn't work and now for us to remember when it didn't work. Because if we lose access to the World Health Organization, it hurts the World Health Organization by a lot, but it also hurts us because then we lose access to their labs, to their data. Most of what happens and the way that cures and vaccines come about quickly is because all these countries are able to share information, which all sort of help us leapfrog over the last breakthrough that another country had. And because it's not a race, it's just shared information. It's just a group project. And our pharmaceutical companies, by the way, also need the World Health Organization to just stay on top of things, right? And I'm no fan of pharmaceutical companies. I'm just saying I'm a fan of people who are sick getting help, right? And so my thing is, if you pull out of the World Health Organization, as good as the doctors that we have in the U.S. are, or at least can be, it won't be long before we're all just sort of WebMD. You know, it won't be long before a new thing, take something like COVID, right? No matter what you believe about the origins of COVID, you understand that something started up in China. And then because of the World Health Organization, everyone was able to talk about it, do testing, they were able to share findings, we were able to get to a vaccine pretty quickly, right? So now, let's say something comes out of another country. And we may know it's coming out of the other country from the news, but we don't actually know any breakthroughs because we're not sharing that data. And everyone has to start all over again every time they try to have a breakthrough. So now you'll just be a regular person walking up to other people like, hey, I'm just asking, just in general, just because I'm curious, but is anybody else like farting blue? No, me neither. No. That's crazy. I don't even know why I said that. That's just like crazy, but like it can happen. You know, I've been hearing on the news that it can't happen, and there's people whose whole bathrooms look like a Smurf died. Like it's just, stuff can happen, you know? Just curious. Yeah. And then maybe someone does get sick, and then that sickness starts to spread. And maybe it's not something that we're used to. It's a completely new thing. So now you have somebody being like, hey, is anybody else that was like not born double jointed, been acting double jointed, like just everything can go in every which way? Because double joint people, they seem to not hurt when they do it, but I'm in a lot of pain. So if anyone has any ideas on what to do, I've been eating as much as I can to lower inflammation, but I'm still
got my head spinning all the way around when I fall asleep. And then you won't be able to distinguish certain things because there are things that are not related that we know through science are like not related even though they're similar, right? You'll be able to know if you have a new thing or if you have a regular version of an old thing. Just walking up to somebody like, hey, look, I'm not trying to get the word out like that. I'm just curious if you've ever heard of this. Do you sleepwalk? Oh, you sleepwalk too? Oh, great. Do you ever sleepwalk and just wake up with a knife every night? Like, does that, just me? Okay. We'll have to look into it. This dude also signed an executive order, the one they promised to, delaying the TikTok ban. But while he was talking about it, after he signed it, he was basically saying like, oh yeah, the U.S. should own some part of it, maybe 50%, maybe more, who knows. And it's hard to tell when Trump talks about what the government should do, if he means the government should own it or he should own it. Because I'm not gonna lie, this TikTok thing is the most mob boss thing I've ever seen. It's the most like, oh, you like your little thing, like, okay, maybe I own some of it. Maybe I own the whole thing. How about that? How about you get out of here? All right, it's mine now. One of the pettiest things that Trump did was he used an executive order to take back John Bolton's security detail. Now, I don't like John Bolton. I'm not like crying for John Bolton or anything. And if you know John Bolton, you'll know who I'm talking about. He looked like a Scooby-Doo villain. When John Bolton got the mustache of somebody who has retired from tying women to train tracks, all right? This dude one of my favorite John Bolton memories was one time he was on, I think it had to be Fox News, he was on, and for some reason, they must have been trying to kill time or something, they put John Bolton, now he was old back then, so this is old, but he was still old when this happened. They put this old man on a hoverboard. And it was as great as you could imagine. They literally try and explain to him what to do on the hoverboard while he's on the hoverboard, which is the worst time to tell somebody how to operate a hoverboard. Don't let them get on and then be like, okay, now subtly. And so then this man, not knowing what to do, sort of moves his hips a little bit, and he just starts spinning. And you can go back and watch the clip. This man is screaming, ah, ah! But Trump took back his security detail, and it was just to be petty. It's just because he doesn't like John Bolton, and John Bolton doesn't like him, right? But it's one of the pettiest things I've seen from a government official, because all he's really doing, all Trump is really saying is like, hey, look, now that I'm back, I just want to make sure if you have any ops at all, that they have as little resistance as possible. Him pulling John Bolton's Secret Service detail is like if I uncalled 911 for somebody. Like they called 911 and I called right after, be like, hey, that last dude, he was just playing. Don't come. It's not a big deal. Don't come at all. I know he's like, oh, he has a knife or whatever, but don't come. He was just trolling. Even the executive order he signed renaming the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. This is one thing that has to stop. It has to stop immediately because we cannot make it this hard on these kids. I remember when I was a kid. I remember when I was a child in school and they told me that Pluto was not a planet, but it was, but it wasn't, but it was, but it wasn't, and it is, but it isn't. And I failed every test where they asked me what Pluto was. I was like, there was one time where it was a fill-in. You had to describe the plants and you had to talk about what gases and everything the plant was made of and why we couldn't live on that planet, why Earth was perfect to live on. And when we got to Pluto, I didn't know what to say anymore because it had been a planet and then it wasn't a planet and then it had been a planet and it even changed like astrological signs or something like that. And so I was like, you know what? It's up there. How about that? Changing the Gulf. And then you even had publications like The Guardian being like, we're still gonna call it the Gulf of Mexico. but we will call it Gulf of America for context in places where it seems fit, where the president is being quoted. I was like, it is or it isn't. No. Then you had Trump signing executive order, you had Trump pardoning everybody from January 6th. That's wild. You ever had somebody go to jail from your neighborhood? Maybe this is just too specific to me, but you ever had somebody go to jail from your neighborhood and you're like, I'm not a snitch, but thank God. Oh. There was this dude named LaDon, right? And I can say his name because he never gonna get out. But there was a dude I knew named LaDon, and I remember when he got locked up, I was like, oh no, don't. Like, see what I mean? Because you wanna show that solidarity, but the police were taking him. I was like, oh, how dare you, 5-0. I can't stand 12. LaDon, no. Oh, but LaDon was wild. He's like a proper criminal. It's like, because then his boys were wearing like free LaDon shirts, and I was just like, Anytime I saw one of them, I was like, oh no, I hope this doesn't have the support that I think it does. There was even one of his friends that wrote to the local, I think it was council person or something, trying to get him to look into it. And I'm not gonna lie, I low-key did like a John Bolton, and I also wrote to the local council. I was like, hey, he was just playing. LaDon need to be in there. Don't pay any attention to what he's saying. Like, he just kind of wilding right now. You know what it is? LaDon owe him $20, and he want the 20 back. He doesn't want him free. He should not be free. LaDon a bad person. LaDon was a bona fide monster. So now imagine LaDon go to jail. The hood is free. You've seen like homecoming parties for people when they get out of jail. I've never seen a party for somebody who just got arrested. Like, the people who felt like we finally had liberation were having a whole cookout off of this dude's charges. And then his boys with the shirt came to the barbecue. I'm like, are you happy or not? But now imagine LaDon locked up. We can finally rest easy. And then the president of the United States is like, actually, nah, LaDon, well, he not innocent, but I don't care. And now he's coming home. That's got to be what it feels like for some of these people. There were plenty of people, don't get me wrong, there were plenty people that were up there, did January 6th. They felt like the election had been stolen. They were sure that they had proof. They wanted to hang the vice president. They came in there with all the smoke, ready for all the juice. And then they get to go home too. This has to have been a wild experience if you are a J6er, because you were there. Remember when they pooped on the desk? They let them leave that day. They pooped on the desk that day, and then they were like, get out of here. And they were like, you right. And then they left. And they were very willing to be on camera. There were people interviewing each other about what they were doing. It's like, hey, Patriot, what are you doing? Oh, I'm tearing up Nancy Pelosi's office right now in protest of the election being stolen. This is me, James Atwood. I just made up a name, but they were saying their full names. And there was one dude that I'm pretty sure was trolling because he was literally getting people to say their address, and that felt insane. Like, I've never had to say my address out loud to somebody I didn't know. And then police come, and they're like, hey, get out of here. And then people left. And you saw them leave. You saw them leave different parts of the rotunda, everything, with smirks on their faces. And then over the course of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, started picking them up left and right. People started, hey, he was there. Oh, They're posting about it. It was on their social that they were there and what they did, right? Them pepper spraying, them throwing stuff at police, all that stuff. And then they start getting arrested. And they're like, what? But I thought, how could this be? How? And then they were sitting in jail. And then, before Trump left, they were like, surely he'll pardon us. And he was like, I'll see y'all in a bit. You know? Because there was a lot of like misunderstandings about who we could pardon and who we couldn't and when people were charged and all this stuff like that. And then he becomes president again. This dude is now president again. And then he pardons them. And woof. Normally, I'm used to seeing a lot of people get out of jail through like innocence projects and stuff like that. People who did not do something. And then they're like, I never thought anyone would believe me. I thought I was going to sit in jail and now I'm free. And they're nothing but grateful. They get out, they're hugging their families, they're crying and stuff. And that has not been the case with the J6. Everybody that got let out is very angry. They're so angry, and a lot of them have already tweeted, I'm buying a gun. And it's like, why would you tell anybody that? You were already caught on camera doing the thing, and now you're like, and now that I'm out, I've got a gun. Okay, LaDon. Like, it's crazy too, because this dude signed that executive order for Doge, for the Department of Government Efficiency, that Elon is supposed to run. Which Elon's also had a week. Because Elon was supposed to run Doge, and he was supposed to really like get in there of what the budgets were, of who everyone was and everything, and he was going to reshape government in the image that he saw best fit him, his businesses, and his worldview, right? And then, I don't know how he did it, but he already like did something that Trump didn't like.
Of course he did.
Like it happened quickly because this dude was supposed to have an office that was near the Oval Office, right? And then one of Trump's, I think a cabinet member, but maybe it's an aide. I can't remember who it was, but they told Elon outright. They were like, "Hey, you're not gonna be around here." And in fact, you're not gonna talk to the president. You're gonna talk to me. Which is wild. Now, don't get me wrong, that person is also like a huge MAGA Trump Republican, but still, the fact that they felt the need to wedge themselves between Trump and Elon already speaks volumes, you know, because Elon, you know, was standing behind the presidential seal. And this is how you know that a lot of people are truly out of their minds. This dude did a Nazi salute that we then debated if it was a Nazi salute for like every day after, including the day of. And I don't know if you should be allowed to talk if you can't believe your eyes. Do you know what I mean? Like, there were people that were like, that was not a Nazi salute. He was throwing his heart out to the crowd. I'm like, well, he has a weird pitch. You know what I mean? I always throw my heart like this. And he did it twice to make sure you knew what it was. Which is pretty wild. One thing that I like about Elon, which is not many things, is that he always manages to quickly make the people that take up for him look super stupid. Like, really dumb. Because so many people had so many different things. They came to his defense. It was several things at once. It was like, guys, no, that was not a Nazi salute, okay? It was a Roman salute. I'm like, all right, you ever split a hair before? Apparently you don't know what that looks like. No, it wasn't a Roman salute. He has Asperger's. I know a lot of people with Asperger's. I know a lot of people that are on the spectrum. I know a lot of people with, you know, different types of autism on different parts of the spectrum. And when I've hung out with them, and they've needed to point or they want to show me affection. You know what they never did? Anything that looked like that. It's pretty crazy. It's like 100% fundamentally insane that people would then, I don't know. Maybe there's some law I don't know about where if you are a news publication and you say someone did a not salute and they didn't actually do a not salute, that they'll like sue you into oblivion and you just won't exist anymore. But I feel like when you see it, you can say it. And the fact that so many notable publications were like, he did a thing that appeared to be, none of us have ever got the leeway that Eli got that day. If there was a video of me stealing out of a store, the headline would not read, Josh Johnson is holding something that appears to not be his in the form of a Best Buy electronic. You see how that works? You see how when you see something, you can say exactly what it is and the world won't shatter? I do think genuinely that if people call out what they saw, they might feel the need to do something about it. So rather than do any of that, let's sidestep it and just be like, look, maybe it would, but I don't know. Who knows? These do. Like, in what world do you not know? You saw it. And you know how you know you saw it? Because Nazis saw it. And you know who was excited about it? Was Nazis. They were very excited. And if they think they saw it, then what are you doing now? If they're very sure of what it was, what do you look like being so unsure? No, it was a Roman salute. No, he has Asperger's. No, he's just awkward and he gets excited. I'm awkward. I got a lot of problems. And you know what I've never done? But truly, that's that's a thing that I watch happen. And then so many people are like, guys, he's anything but a Nazi. He's not a Nazi. He loves Jewish people. And then we pointed to tweets where people showed whole sick conspiracy theories against Jewish people and anti-Semitic rhetoric. And then he would comment under it, that's true. But somehow he's not a Nazi. And then for everyone who was still like on the fence or still hardcore, pro Elon, he's not a Nazi, y'all. He went ahead and did y'all a huge favor. He attended an AFD rally via satellite in Germany and told them, hey, you gotta let go of the past, y'all. We can't keep feeling bad about stuff that happened. The AFD, by the way, which is the most Naziest of the Nazi. He's like, no, you gotta be proud of your Germanness. These are all dog whistles, but you can hear it. You know, I hear you, dog. And then Trump signed this executive order that rolled back protections and acknowledgement of trans people, all right? And, I didn't do it. And the thing is, you know, if there's anything that I wish Trump would ban that had anything to do with gender, it would be gender reveals. They're getting genuinely dangerous. I watched a gender reveal where they had, because they're creative in the worst ways. Because then I watched this gender reveal where they had a blue plane and a pink plane, right? And both planes were flying at the couple, right? And then I guess whichever plane, I don't really know how it was supposed to work because both planes flying, so I don't know how we're gonna figure out what the baby is. You know what I mean? So then the pink plane veered off to the right and the blue plane kept straight. So I guess that meant it was a boy because they started celebrating, right? But they started celebrating without moving and the plane was still coming at them. And so it's not a big plane, but it's a little bigger than a toy plane and it hit the husband in the face and chopped his head all up. Like he's alive, he's fine, but you could tell it hit him hard and He trying to still celebrate, but he's clearly concussed. He's 100% concussed, just, oh. Didn't even put a hand out or anything. I don't know who is like winning with this thing. You know, maybe if you're a tech billionaire, you're doing very well because he's gonna push through to like lower regulations so that you can make things as fast as possible, even if those things need some guardrails because they might be potentially dangerous. Whatever, you know. And if you really hate other people, then yes, you're having a good week. But for Americans, like specifically for us, I don't know what these things do. You know? Like I don't know what rolling back, what few protections there were for trans people does for me. I thought the election was about safety and eggs. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was like, everyone was talking about eggs a lot. Like everybody was like really hitting those eggs. I didn't know eggs were everybody's favorite food. Like eggs, people weren't even talking about bread. They were talking specifically about eggs. I think a lot of people went to like Kroger or Walmart or something on the wrong day and they were like, hell no, eggs is my number one issue. I'm a one issue voter and eggs is that vote. And so I don't know what any of this has to do with eggs. But it doesn't seem like we're getting there. You know? Even the language of the executive order was weird. The language of the executive order was like, you have to treat and address people as the sex that they were assigned at conception, which is not how, that's not how anything works. If it's conception, dude, if it's conception, when it happens, then there's no men. There would be no dudes. This is not a plan. Like this is terrifying. Don't be wrong. There are plenty of people who are scared, and there are plenty of people who don't know what to do next. And one thing I really want people to stop doing, and I'm not anybody's boss. You can do what you want. You can probably, you know, whatever. Screw me. But we're not like cooked. Don't do that thing. Don't give up immediately. Like there's a sort of rhetoric and an idea that like, oh, we're finished and this is it, and like there's nothing that can be done. It's like guys, no. But then you see people devastated, giving up very quickly. You know, oh man, we're ruined. We're so cooked. It's like I mean, if you believe that, then we are. Like if you earnestly believe that, then yes, absolutely, that's what cooked looks like, because cooked is done, and you like your steak raw. So, yeah, I mean, like day one we're cooked. That's also, that kind of made me furious. I'm not gonna lie. Not even like an armed resistance attacking people or something like that. Oh, we're cooked. It's like, you saw him with his pen. Like I'm saying genuinely. People, please, if you feel anything, then you should openly speak it. You know, one of the reasons that these things spread, why negativity spreads, why like the general pessimism towards movement spread, is because people let their doubt reign over everything, all of their discussion, all of their thinking. It's like, I'm not saying that I know exactly what to do about executive orders that he passed that I don't agree with. Those things are for the courts to hopefully fight, you know? But I will say, for every person that I know that was affected by an executive order that he has, that I know is scared, I talk to that person. And I tell them, hey, I'm at least here. Now, I'm not the president, but I'm here for you, locally, right? That's how you build community. And that's how you keep people from being afraid. Because people don't know. They genuinely don't know that there are people that are willing to back them up. They have no idea, right? He signed an executive order that was supposed to take away birthright citizenship for people who were not already citizens, and to stop any confusion, it was going to be birthright citizenship starting now, right? Because if it was for all time, then like half of his cabinet, they wouldn't even know where to take them, put them. And then he started work on this thing that he'd been promising. And it was a thing that people didn't really think he was going to do, of like mass deportations. And so far, these are the numbers so far as I know them. Once again, I'm willing to be like fact checked. If I'm wrong. But this is from what I've read and from what I know, this is basically what has happened. They did some ICE raids in places like Chicago, and there were some in Texas too, Arizona, and like plenty of like sanctuary cities. That's ones that they were like targeting initially. I'm not sure why, because you would think in the red states that voted for this thing, they would want it first. Like that just seems like it's making nobody happy. And they rounded up some people and they went ahead and took off for Mexico. And so then they take off from Mexico. We did it. We raided. We got some people. Gonna drop them off at Mexico because these are Mexican illegal immigrants, right? And so then FAA comes on and they're like, "Hey, don't land here." And I do think that nobody really thought that part through. I don't think people really thought. And then even when they let them land, they were like, "Don't let them off the plane. Just turn around." And they were like, "All right. Okay, we will be back though. We'll be back with more," right? Because I should be clear here that apparently, from what I've read, just deporting these 80 people cost the taxpayer $700,000. So I do not know how we're gonna save any money. I don't know how this plan is gonna work. 80. There's supposedly 11 million undocumented immigrants in the US, right? 11 million, so 3.3% of the population, right? And we started with 80. If I owed somebody $11 million, and I told them, "Hey, I ain't got all that right now, but I do have this 80. I'm getting my ass beat." That's crazy. 80 and $700,000. I'm not in government. I'm not acting like I know how to fix a situation. I'm not acting like I know what to do about where we're at. But I will say this: if I know I got to spend $700,000 to get 80, this is just me. I'm not telling anybody else to do it. This is just me. This is what I would do if it were me, and I knew $700,000 for 80. I would just tell those 80 people, "Listen, I'm gonna break you off some. Start a new life somewhere else. You get 1/80th of 700,000, right? And come back in like 6 months, all right?" Because that's one thing that you will not hear. As this whole thing builds out, you will not hear about people coming over illegally. They're going to act like it's not happening. They're going to act like it's all going one way. They're denying everything. They're denying all of these legal ways to become a citizen, legal ways to gain citizenship, legal ways to get a card, or just to be able to work in the U.S. They canceled a lot of appointments for people who were doing the right thing, right? And so my thing is just use your logic and pay attention to what is not being said over the next few months to several years, because they're not going to want to admit that these people are coming in still, even while they're making these efforts, because it will make them look even more desperate, even less efficient, you know? Because they told us before the election all of these incredible stories about how migrants were coming in. They were like, and look, I don't even know how they're doing it, but in Honduras and Guatemala, they're disassembling themselves, mailing themselves here, and then reassembling themselves, and then walking around amongst us. But now that they've supposedly shut down the border, they want us to believe that all of these legal ways of entering have also just stopped. And that's not true. You're fighting a losing battle if it takes you $700,000 to send 80 people somewhere that says, "Hey, we're not You know what I mean? That's one of the craziest things too. Is a deeply ironic thing that they did all this, sent the people over, and then the other countries were like, "Hey, those are American immigrants." No, that's crazy. No, and I think a lot of it. I think a lot of the like tactics that have been taken and some of the logic that's been used on the news and everything is just it's genuinely like fear based. It's to like rile you up. It's to make you feel afraid and everything. And you know, even in the executive orders, like 100 executive orders or so, and so many of them don't really say anything. They don't really do anything. You just sort of make a show of signing it. You know. Because I'll be honest with you, I saw some of the raids that were taking place and some of the statements that people made and how they're taking things that were normally off the table, they're putting them back on so they can come in your church, they can come in your school. People are scared to go to places that felt safe and everything. And I will say I don't know exactly what to do. I'm not acting like I have any answers. I just don't know how possibly this is the road, like this is the tack to take, you know? Like, people will say things like, oh, they don't pay any taxes. It's like, don't they eat? Then didn't they pay the sales tax? Didn't they pay? And by the way, this not paying taxes thing, they get paid under the table by Americans, by the way. There's no job that they have that an American doesn't give them. And pay them under the table in cash and probably pay them a little less than minimum wage. Probably pay them in even numbers. So what money could you possibly stand to gain? And I'm not saying the money doesn't exist, that it's not there, and that there shouldn't be a path to legal citizenship so that they can pay all the taxes that we all pay. I'm just saying that, like, are they each owing more than like $700,000 when you put 80 of them together? I don't know. Have y'all been keeping up with this Jonah Hill thing? Yeah. Okay. So real quick, if you don't know what it is, Jonah Hill's ex put out a bunch of his text messages to her while they were dating, and she was a surfer. She still is, and then they were dating while she was surfing, and it's him being like, why you gotta surf around men, and she's like a surfer and a surfer instructor. It's like, why you gotta surf with men, and why you gotta post pictures of yourself surfing in a bikini and all that. So it was all this shit like that, right? And it just, you can see a decline in the text messages where he's clearly so worried about being cheated on, he's not making sense. He's like, why you gotta surf with dude? Because then if you're surfing and then he's surfing, what if y'all start surfing on each other? You know what I mean? And then like y'all are surfing together, and what if you get surf in your mouth? And then now you were just covered in surf and you come home and you're like, got surf on you. I was like, nigga, are you all right? Like, so there's been a lot of backlash about him being narcissistic and misogynistic and everything. And I think Jonah Hill committed a cardinal sin. He really did. Jonah Hill told a woman what to do while being an ugly motherfucker. Can't do that shit. You cannot do that shit. Like, look at the text and then look at his face. You cannot tell anybody what to do, sir. That's too much bass in your text right now for that hairline you got, you know? I'm not gonna lie, if John Hamm had sent those same texts, if John Hamm was like, I don't want you talking to any other men, you'd be like, okay, daddy. Like, Did y'all see the Alabama brawl? Yo. Who knew Wakanda was in Alabama? That was crazy. You know, that was wild. So many people came out of nowhere. That shit was like Black January 6th. That was like... That was crazy. If you didn't see the video, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain it really quick. Basically, there was this one guy. He was an employee of the place, right? And he was like asking these people to move their boat, you know? So it was a black employee, but he was asking these people who happened to be white that had the boat to move their boat, and they wouldn't move the boat. I don't even know if this part is true, but I heard that the riverfront boat that was waiting to dock had been waiting for like 40 minutes because these people refused to move, right? So finally he just keeps going, like, you gotta move the boat, you gotta move the boat. They get out of their boat, they're cursing at him, and he's not backing down. He's like, you have to move the boat, I work here, you have to move the boat. And then they just keep cursing at him. Finally they put hands on him, and then they start fighting him. And he did his best. He held his own for quite a while. So it's not like they beat his ass, but they were clearly ganging up on this dude, right? And, you know, a lot of people, as soon as they saw the video, they got upset. I got upset once. I thought it was going to bum me out just seeing like 5 white dudes ganging up on this like middle-aged black dude and everything. And some people were upset about the racial part immediately. But I'm not going to lie. I was distracted. I wasn't. I didn't hate these people because they were ganging up on them and they were white. I hated them because they had a boat. You know what I mean? This isn't just a race thing. These rich fucks with a boat are trying to beat up a working class person. Is insane. You know, made me furious. And then they started fighting them, and then like other people came. And, you know, a lot of black people already saw what was happening. So then when the riverfront boat docked and other black people who saw what was happening, they all just swarmed. It looked like, like that one episode in Game of Thrones where, you know, they were losing, but then just more just came down the mountain. It was like, I was like, God damn, okay, wow. Send in the troops, apparently. I should back up. When the fight started, the initial fight where the dude was getting ganged up on, he just threw his hat. Just threw it, and that almost felt like a signal. That was, as a black person, I didn't know that was our call to arms. I didn't know this was like, oh, okay, all right, we go now. That was wild to begin with. Then it was crazy because then so many people swarmed in, it turned into a huge brawl, and I don't know if you saw a video, but there was one person that wanted to help when they saw him getting jumped so badly that this nigga swam. Jumped in the water. From the camera angle, we don't know where he came from. I'd like to think he came from Africa. I'd like to think he started swimming 6 weeks ago in preparation. Because look, if you know, the history of black people swimming, especially in the South, you know that we're not known for it. You know what I mean? And so I'm not gonna critique his swimming because I was just happy to see another black dude swim. That's just, every one of us swimming is a W, okay? But I do have to comment, because he wasn't swimming normal. Did you see him swim? He wasn't swimming regular. This was not regular swimming, right? This man wasn't swimming to the fight. This man was punching the water till he got there. I knew he was gonna whoop ass when he got out of the water, because he would... I've never seen someone punch water till they got to their location. That was so crazy. Go back and watch the video. This man... punching with horsepower. Like, I've never seen anything like it. And then he gets out of the water, starts whooping ass, everybody whooping ass and everything. So you know that those white people, when it started fighting, then started more fighting, you know they were relieved when the cops got there, but they must have been conflicted, because half the cops were black. Like, that's a situation where even when the cops arrive, you're like, ooh, whose side are you on? Because I was kind of doing a thing before you got here. You know what I mean? Honestly, that's what's so wild. Because I think also, I've tried to put my mind in I've tried to put myself in the mind of each person that was in the video in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because that's a terrifying thing. To get jumped is a terrifying thing. Then the person swimming. Then I'm just trying to think about every angle that I could think about it from. I'm not gonna lie. That must have been a huge surprise because you out here ganging up on this one dude with your buddies, and then before you know it, there's just like 50 black people. That's listen. I'm telling you right now. Let's say y'all just blinked, and when you opened your eyes, there were 50 black people behind me. I'm not even saying you'd be scared, but you'd be surprised. You'd be like, wow, that was fast. That's all you'd say. You know? Because that's the thing. That's, I think, the strangest part, one of the weirdest parts, like when you start watching the video, let's say you start watching the video, you had no context, nobody told you what was gonna happen, you hadn't seen any of the memes yet. The craziest thing about what happens is that, especially as a black person, I think some people are curious why black people have been memeing the shit out of it and everything. It's because if you know the South and you know the history of 5 white guys ganging up on a black guy and how that usually goes, you know, especially when they have enough money for a boat. Usually doesn't turn out well, you know what I mean? And so this was a different thing. This is a different outcome than we've ever really seen before, you know? Because I'll be honest with you. Let's say we're in a different time and there's no camera phones and they were able to leave before the cops got there. They would have just beat up that dude and left. You know? And that's my thing where it's like, okay, yeah, whoop their ass, we all laugh, we all celebrate, whatever. But like, fuck up that boat. Like, fuck up the... What are you doing? Like, bust up the bow or something. Like, rip a rudder out, please. I do think that would hurt them more than the ass whooping. They just be standing there and looking like skippers. Not the boat! You know? You know what's actually crazy? I thought about this weekend. You know what I've never done at all in my life? And I had to really think about it. Never once in my life have I Googled Jada Pinkett Smith. So why do I know so much? Why do any of us know so much? Isn't that crazy? I've never even Googled Jada and Will. I've never sought any of this information. I know so much about them, it feels like we're related. It's devastating. I don't know if y'all saw the most recent interview. She's given her 1,000th. And in it, she says that she says so many things. First of all, she said that she sold crack when she lived in Baltimore, which is like believable. That's a very entry-level job in Baltimore. That part I was like, and? But then she also said her and Will been separated for like 7 years. Which, what? She also said that Tupac is her soulmate. It's like she's going out of her way to hurt Will's feelings now. This is really insane. Tupac is your soulmate. You've been married for decades. My soulmate's a guy from the 90s. And the more I think about it, and the more I listen to Jada talk, the more that I'm convinced that Tupac died to get away from her. Like, I feel like... Easily. They dated for a while, you know what I mean? And then he got a taste of what Will has lived with. And then he was in Vegas and he got into it with some dudes on some gang shit and stuff like that. And they shot at him and he thought about what life would be like with Jada. And so he just leaned into the bullet. She said they haven't been together. Her and Will have not been together since 2016, which does make the slap more confusing now. That's right, because like that, they haven't lived together since 2016. Now it feels less like you were defending your wife and more like you just wanted to hit Chris Rock. Like, turn that man to a tambourine for no reason. That's insane. It really is. Like, what? Not even defending your wife at this point. You were defending your neighbor, I guess. Haven't lived together since 2016. It also makes the entanglement more confusing now. Watching Will and Jada is just like the Black Inception. You know what I mean? It's just a nightmare and a nightmare and a nightmare. There's twists that nobody asked for. What? Entanglement. Because then, this is my thing. If they weren't together, why'd they have that whole talk acting like they were together? It made them look worse. Why did they do that? It made her look like a cheater and him look like a cuck, but then they weren't together. So what's the big deal now? I mean, the big deal is that she fucked her son's friend, which is... A lot of people don't know that. That was Jaden's friend. So Jaden over there waiting for play dates and stuff. Ain't nobody showing up like it's a Brazzers video. It's so chaotic. No, it's just very chaotic. And look, I want to be fair for a second. I do want to be fair. Everyone comes for Jada and everybody shits on Jada so hard. And I get it. It's easy because she won't stop talking. But like, some of this is on Will. We can all agree about some of this is genuinely on Will. People blame Jada for the slap. That's not her fault. That's a grown man. And he got up there and he slapped another grown man. You can't blame her for that. It's not like she used her powers. And people blame a lot of the marriage stuff on just Jada. Will is also married to Jada. You know what I mean? He could get a divorce if he wants to, but he doesn't want to. He does not want, and if you pay attention to the interviews, he said it. Divorce is not an option. He'd rather them live as single people and still be married than to get a divorce. Which is weird. It is weird. I understand. For a long time, they were the symbol of black love, especially in Hollywood, right? And that's a symbol that he carefully curated that maybe she didn't want to be a part of, but it's one of the reasons he can't let it go, because it's a failure that he will not accept, right? But to just live as two single people but still be married is weird. It's very odd. Who is it for? It's not for them. They're not together. It's not for us, because now she aired it out. Everybody knows. It's not for the kids, because they're already weird. So who is this for? And like, I mean, it must be rough. I do get it. I have empathy for both of them genuinely, because I think Will, you know, came on strong, wants to make it work and everything, and Jada was just not having it. And a part of me, you know, I'm wrapping up, but just a part of me, a part of me gets it. Because if it's not the life that she wanted, it shouldn't be the life she accepted. That's fair. You're an adult in the world and you make your own decisions and you need to live by them, right? But also, to be fair to her, I don't have a gorgeous millionaire trying to fuck me and marry me. I don't know. It probably seems pretty hard to turn down. I'm not gonna lie. Like if Zendaya walked in here right now and y'all look like you're together, if she told you, bro, if she was like, I want to marry you and be with you for the rest of my life, you'd probably be like, look, I'm in a happy relationship and I found my happiness. I hope you find yours. I'm not saying it'd be easy to say to her. You'd probably say it after I do, but I don't know if y'all saw, but Sam Bankman-Fried was found guilty on all charges. If you don't know who Sam Bankman-Fried is, he's the dude who looked like somebody microwave Shia LaBeouf. He was behind a multi-billion-dollar crypto scandal, and took a lot of people's money. Had a lot of powerful friends, so he could take a lot of people's money. He was found guilty, and he made a serious mistake. He stole money from rich people. When you think about it, it's really all he did wrong. If you steal from the poor, you're gonna be pretty good off. I don't know. This dude is gonna go away for a long time, which is crazy because I don't really understand what he did. But I'm glad he didn't do it to me. I'm like, you ever just, because I never got into crypto because I didn't understand it, so you ever just be so dumb you miss a whole tragedy? Because I saw the whole thing coming. I was having FOMO and everything, and then everybody started losing their money. I was like, maybe it pays to not read sometimes. Maybe it's to my benefit that I have stayed as ignorant as possible on very specific subjects in life. I was having a conversation with a friend from back home, and so many things worked in connection together to get me where I am. I saw this article about this guy. I think his name's, I might be mispronouncing it, but Brian Mwende, and he is in Kenya, and he was a lawyer. He was a fake lawyer. And he won 26 cases straight. 26 cases straight, one after the other. WWWW. And then they finally caught him. And now he is awaiting trial, where I pray he represents himself. That's phenomenal. 26, you got fake, and apparently it's a whole thing. I didn't know this. In Kenya, this is a whole thing. There are a bunch of fake lawyers, because he was just the first one. There's a bunch of fake lawyers that just never actually passed the bar, but they've been practicing. I guess they got a storefront or something. Like, I don't know, you just walk in and you're like, you seem like a lawyer. The only way I know any lawyer has been a lawyer that I've ever worked with was the paper on the wall behind their desk. If that's fake, I have a fake lawyer. That's my favorite story, though. My favorite thing that happened was Paris Fashion Week. If y'all aren't familiar, Paris has Fashion Week, and all these people high up in the fashion world, rich people, celebrities, they all descended on Paris for a week to see and be seen and stuff. And while they were there was an outbreak of bed bugs, which is hilarious. It couldn't be. You gathered all the richest people in the world together in one place and gave them bed bugs? Are we sure this wasn't an activist? You sure this wasn't Greta Thunberg trying new things? You know what I mean? Just her sitting there like, you take a jet, you pays the price. Could have been. We don't know. But it was amazing. They gave all those rich people bed bugs. It made me laugh so hard because it's Fashion Week, so half of them dress like bed bugs to begin with. So bed bugs probably thought it was mating season, you know what I mean? They were seeing them walk by like, okay, come through, thickness. I'm gonna take a bite of you later. But no, people from Fashion Week spoke to the press and the public. People from the local government spoke to the press and the public and everything. And mostly everyone was trying to maintain a sense of calm the entire time, right? We're very sorry that this is happening. This is not a reflection on our beautiful city. We're doing our best to move people. Just please stick with us, right? But there was one person that was my favorite. The deputy mayor also spoke to the public and the press. But when the deputy mayor came out, he was like, it's an outbreak. No one is safe. What kind of leader says no one is safe? We just came out of a global pandemic where no country's leader said no one is safe, even when no one was safe. That's crazy. Then the mayor, because the mayor came out, she was ready. She was like prim, proper. She made me feel reassured I wasn't even in Paris, right? And then she got this assistant-ass mayor behind her. No one is safe. She's probably like, get him out of here. It's crazy. No one is safe. Every leader I've ever had has tried to maintain a sense of calm in a crisis. I remember when I was in middle school, in English class. And English class was after lunch. And I'd seen this kid at lunch, and he had a nasty-ass lunch. I don't know what it was, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, he gonna be sick. That is disgusting. And so then I sat as far away from him as I could, corner of the classroom. And then middle of class, sure enough, his stomach started bubbling. And we all hear it. He just over here taking notes like... looking at us like, y'all don't hear me, right? It's like, of course we hear you. His stomach is loud as hell. And then in the middle class, he jumps up and runs out. And on the way to running out, because he was very sick, he threw up on the back of like 7 kids' heads. And our teacher said, calm down. I know y'all just got thrown up on. Let me get some towels. It's gonna be fine. She didn't say, no one is safe. You see what I mean? I worked at an Italian restaurant that burned down, right? It burned down, and even as the head chef was trying to put the flames out on his back, no one yelled, no one is safe. We just tried to put this man out. Actually, one of my favorite things about when that happened was, okay, so the chef is on fire, right? Like, and then the line cook ran out to the dining hall where everybody else was, and then just yelled to the whole dining hall, we on fire, motherfuckers! Which is like as informative as it is unhelpful. Like, he's telling them the details, but not enough to get them moving. Also, we are not on fire, just he is on fire. Some of the building is on fire, but mostly as we, it's just him. He on fire by himself, right? And so no one knows what to do, because even if someone ran in now and was like, we on fire, motherfuckers, you wouldn't immediately jump up and run. They looked at him and they were like, so is he on drugs or what? And it wasn't until the chef ran out behind him out the door with a couple flames still on his back that everybody cleared out. He yelled, we on fire, motherfuckers. He didn't yell, no one is safe. What would even possess you to put the words to get to the public, no one is safe? Like when I think about it, now that I think about it, I think that was that deputy mayor low-key admitting he had bed bugs. That's what it was. It had to be, no one is safe. That means I'm not safe. No one is safe. I wish there was video. There's no video of it happening. But you can tell that this is the case because anytime one of our leaders has to speak to us, they're calm because it's not their problem. That's what's happening. I grew up in Louisiana. Our whole state would get slammed by hurricanes, and the governor would come on TV and be like, we're gonna stick in this together, all right? We're all in this together. He's clearly in Massachusetts, by the way. We're all in this together, all right? Y'all just stick with me, we're gonna get through this. You know what I mean? I think that dude freaked out because it was his problem. It's hard to stay calm when you're in the middle of something, you know? I wish there was video. There's no video. I wish he would just come out, because you know he yelled it. You know, he was like, no one is safe. It's happening to everybody, including really cool people who don't deserve this. God damn, I wish there was a video just to see him be like, it's an outbreak, y'all. We doing our best, but this is bullshit. I thought I had it all figured out, you know. I was sexting. And sexting's a very precarious situation. You want to make sure you're sexting at the right time, you know? Because if it's like 8 o'clock, you still got other people texting you, you know? You don't want to accidentally send a text that's incoming to somebody because you opened the thing, you know what I mean? And it's also like, what if you're not that skilled? Like, what if I'm not good texting with just my left hand? Now you texting typos and stuff. It's knocking the sexy right out of your sexting. You know, it's like, I'm gonna fud your bass. It's like, nobody's into it now. You know? So I had an idea. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. And I didn't talk to anybody about it. I had never heard anybody doing this, but in my mind, it was the best thing to do. I was like, I'm just gonna speak to text. So that way, I don't gotta worry about the other hand and everything, and I can just like get in the zone and stuff. I don't have to worry about other people texting me and everything. And it went horribly wrong. Because I wasn't at home. I was at my childhood home. So I was in my room, but it wasn't my house, you know? And it was, 9 o'clock or so, and we were sexted that, look, I'll read you the thing right now. This is what. Okay. All right. So she's like, oh, okay. And what would you do if you were here right now? And then I was like, girl, I would tear those clothes off. And Mom, what are you doing in here? Mom, I had the door closed. You can't just open the door. I was just coming to see if you wanted dinner. No, I'm okay. Mom, get out right now. Boy, how you gonna tell me to get out somewhere in my house? I'm sorry, Mom. Please, can you please leave and close the door? You know we don't have closed doors in this house. Which is true. That's a very like black family thing of like you not closing the door in my house. What you up to in there? And I was like, Mama, please leave. Please, please leave. And she was like, all right, what's the big deal? I was like, nothing, Mom, just please get out of here. So anyway, girl, I would say, all right, thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great night.